Hello and welcome to today's live stream. Just going to get my camera adjusted a little bit here. Get my phone ready so I can watch the chat. Get everything set up. Hi Dree, how are you? Just getting everything positioned. Hey Delaney. Hello Brandy, how are you? Hope everybody is doing good today. Don't quite have everything how I want it yet. I don't know if there's a way I can do this ahead of time, but I always seem to have to adjust. Hi Jessica. All right, that should be good enough. Get some of my past ones out of the way here. I like to have these guys kind of hang out in case anybody needs to see them during the stream. I like to use them as references. So always have these little guys around. Got my pre-baked pieces here and ready. I'm going to move those up just a little bit. Now for today, I wanted to do a rock monster. Hi Jesse. And so I'm using Primo Accents Gray Granite. I've also taken some of the gray granite, mixed it with white, mixed some with black, some with brown, some with a little more brown, and this one kind of has a brown, black, gray granite mixture to give it a little more of a gray look to it. I have some extra gray granite in case I need it, but I've got a pretty big piece out here softened up already, so I'll set this aside. And I also got some green out because I thought maybe to add some color to it, do some moss on the monster, but I'll wait until he's all done and then we can decide if we want to do that. So to start out, I'll get some foil and build up a nice big rock base for the monster. And I've done a sad rock monster before on my channel, and I've done some other rock monsters previously beyond that. And I really like the way they look. I really love this gray granite clay. And it's fairly soft, so it's easier to work with than some of the clays. So that's an added bonus. So I think that's a good size to work with. I'm going to compare it to some of the bases of some of the other monsters. Kind of see how it compares. So it's a pretty good piece. He might be the biggest monster, but I always think of like the big rock monsters from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh, and Brandy said my tombstone monster was so cute. Yeah, I'd already forgotten about him. He's made out of the same clay as this guy's going to be. Hi Myra, how are you? Hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. So even though I've already softened this up, I always just kind of warm it up a little bit in my hands before I apply it to the sculpture. Myra says I'm good. Excellent. Hi Bella, how are you? Myra asks, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm keeping busy. Getting lots of housework done, lots of art done, and getting caught up on my video game backlog. You know, all the important things in life. So I'm just getting this flattened out. I'm going to roll it a little bit. Bella's doing great. Excellent. So I'm not for sure of this. I don't think this is going to be a big enough piece, but I can go and apply it and add some more. So I'm just going to wrap it around the foil. Dree asks if anybody's getting any cabin fever yet. I personally am not, but I think it helps to stay connected with people online, on the phone, whatever works. I'm hoping this little escape on my live chat or my live streams helps people. Definitely helps me. So this covered quite a bit of it, but I've got cut off a little bit more. So could try something different with this guy. And I don't know if I've done it on a monster in this style. Hi Tori Perfect, how are you? But sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around between my thoughts in the chat. Dree says it does help. Tori says nice to see you again. Thank you. It's nice to see you guys on today. So I want to know, since this is the Let's Make a Monster, I let my viewers decide what I do with the monster. Would you like to see this guy with one head or two heads? Only done like a few monsters that have had multiple heads. I've done some shell monsters, or at least one shell monster. Tori says, yesterday I turned 12. Well, congratulations, happy birthday. Delaney says 2 heads. Tori says 2, Dree says 2, so we're definitely going with 2. So those of you new to this, I always ask for viewer input, but it's not like a voting system. It's not like majority rules. It's kind of what I see, scroll up, and what like I said, I don't count it up. It's not going to be the most votes, but it's what I see on my screen as the most, and I think 2 heads is obviously the #1 pick here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make 2 smaller foil balls. Each one of these is about a half a sheet. And I use that Reynolds wrap, the foil sheets. So I can kind of place those about like that on him. I think I'm definitely going to need my other block of gray granite, but it shouldn't take too long to soften up if I do. Dree says not sponsored. I don't know what that means. Kujin says hello Andrew, and hello everyone in the chat. Hi Kujin, how are you? Oh yeah, not sponsored by Reynolds. Sorry Dree, my mind's just kind of brrr. I need to send them some links to my videos and see if they can sponsor me. Kujin is good, and you mate, I'm doing great. Tori says everyone's are so nice here. We try. I mean, I don't see the point of being any different. I mean, not saying I don't have my bad days. All right, so I'm just getting this first head covered. And what's great about these rock monsters is I like to think of each section, either the heads or parts of the arms, as these individual rocks. So they don't have to be a certain shape or size. And lots of times I'll take a ball tool and add some texture to them, add some different angles. You can even take like the X-Acto knife and cut off parts and just kind of make them all different. this other one covered. Now the next question as I get this done, are we wanting to make it like a humanoid, you know, meaning like, you know, the obviously it's got to have 2 heads, but like 2 legs, 2 arms. Or we want to go with a different style. I'm going to expand this out. Kujin says 4 legs maybe. Tori asks, hey, quick question because I'm new to your channel, and welcome. Did you go to art school or did you learn everything by yourself? I did not go to art school. I took a lot of art classes in high school, which has been a long time ago. And after that, when I started getting into art, like the last 10 years, that's when I seriously got into sculpting. I did a lot of searches on YouTube, and that's how I found like Nerdy Crafter. When I found her channel, I found some other YouTubers, or not YouTubers, Facebook friends, like Trino Knights. There was this Outpost 8 did a lot of stuff back then. So I kind of got tips from them on sculpting. And then as I went on, I was learning like needle felt and Warbler. I just did searches on YouTube and found these great tutorials for different things. And then I've also bought a few books on polymer clay. Okay, so we're all over the place on this. Dree says leg or legless. Kujin says, oh, legless. I like a snake, Dree. So I could do the 2 heads. Got a rock body. Well, then I'm going to want to do a few other rock pieces to kind of follow. Is that what we're wanting to do? Oh, Dree's thinking more boulder-like. Okay. So I could do the 2 heads. And then give it some arms. And then just leave I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see from that angle. So I can do the 2 heads, and then we can have the arms coming out, and then just leave the bottom like this. Dree says, like that Pokemon. Kujin says, that sounds awesome. Which Pokemon? I'm trying to remember. I know there's that, is it Onyx? And it's the snake one, but I can't think of the boulder one. So I'm going to get some wire to put these on. Kujin says Mickey head right now. Yes, kind of. All right, so just got 2 pieces of wire. This will help support these on here since they're kind of angled. Might not be a necessity, but it's not going to hurt. Also, this kind of pokes a hole. I mean, it does poke a hole. Oh, yeah, Geodude, where he's got the... I know what you're talking about. Yes, in fact, I just talked about him the other day because I'm thinking about doing one for my Pokemon Week. But I was thinking of, like, one that was sitting, not, like, floating. But, yeah, I could do, like, a 2-headed... He doesn't have a body. That's why I think is what also is different. But I could do a 2-headed character similar to that. But anyway, like I'm saying, when poking the hole in this will also help let air out. Even though I'm going to push this in place, it probably won't seal all the way around. So I can just kind of start the hole in these. Use just with my needle tool. Tori asks, will you do cute or scary? Probably cute. These guys are all pretty cute. I don't do as many scary stuff. I did do one on Friday, and my Necronomicons are pretty scary looking. Okay, so we're going to go with that, and then have the arms coming out. Does that sound good? I'm just going to shape this. I'm going to get my big ball tool, and I can add some different indentions and textures to this guy. And then what I'll probably do is do some wire in there for the arm so I can build onto those. And then I'll work on the faces. And hopefully that works. Bree says muscle arms may be veiny. Give it a shot. All right. Don't want to go too high up because I'm going to have to put the rocks in there. And I'm kind of thinking I should redo this one a little bit lower even, since we're not going to do legs on it. So I can just take that wire out, smooth the clay in to cover up that opening I had. I'm going to go more in the middle. Dree says yes, I think lower too. Good. It's like he's reaching out for a hug. He can't move anywhere, but he wants somebody to give him a hug. And then what I can do is I can make little boulders for his arms and poke a hole with the needle tool, and then I can kind of thread them through the wire. So I'm just roughly lining it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just pushing this wire in. Trey says we all need a hug at the moment. Yes. The little rock monster doesn't understand social distancing. He's like, hug. Just going to get this positioned. Tori says, will you put legs? Dree says, haha. No, it sounds like we're deciding not legs, just this boulder body, 2 heads, and 2 arms. All right. So I am going to go ahead and get out this other gray granite, get that softened up. Dree says, misunderstood. Rock monster doesn't want to squash your head, just wants hugs. I feel like he'd be very much like Frankenstein's monster. Alice down the rabbit hole. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Alice. Thanks for joining the live stream. Tori says, are you scared of the pandemic? I always like to come up with random questions. I mean, worried some, not necessarily scared. I mean, I've been staying home. All right, so I've got this softened up. I've got my other gray granite. And then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use this for, keep using this for the base color on this. And then if I want to add little details and little rocks in the crevices, I can do that with the other colors. So right now I'm just going to roll out some rocks. And I might put these over foil on the bigger ones. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of foil. Just doing some different size balls of foil to do for the arms. So I've got those rolled out. Now I'm just flattening out a piece of the gray granite to go over. Sorry, we got the first one done there. Get this second one covered. And just flatten out some more. Gonna go a little bit thinner with this, so make sure to keep those areas smaller. And then I'll give them some hands, and I'll just use some clay for that, not putting it around a foil. And then maybe even using some of the other colors for the fingers. Dree asks, I have difficulty sticking the wire through the foil. Usually what I do, Dree, is I use the needle tool to puncture a hole first, and then I take the needle tool and I'll kind of rotate it around a little bit to kind of expand that foil out. And this wire is 16 gauge. Yeah, and these foils shouldn't be too compact. We'll see what kind of trouble I have with them. Dree was asking maybe, or Dree asked maybe my wire is too thin or I compacted the foil too much. Yeah, either one could create a little bit of a problem with that. I almost think I need to go a little bit smaller with these. I think they're going to go past those arms too much. So just going to take a little bit of the foil off of this one. Yeah, that needle tool helps a lot, and plus if you distort your sculpt a little bit while you're doing that, then you can kind of fix it before you apply it to the sculpture. And that way you're also not putting so much pressure on it as you're doing it. All right. Okay, so I do have excess clay, which is good. Cut that off. Threw my wire on the floor because it kept rattling. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. So yeah, that size is a little bit better. We'll rip off another little section. So it's definitely important, if something isn't quite right, to go ahead and take the extra time and redo it. I think you'll be happier with the results and glad you did. So if I'm careful, I can kind of just cut it open like that. Take this piece out. Well, but so much for being careful. Rip off my excess there, compact this a little bit, take that piece and cover this back up. Dree says, see, this is also what I like about your stream. It doesn't always go exactly as planned. Yeah, well, I think that's a compliment. I wish it went exactly as planned, but it is nice to kind of show people that, you know, I know what you're saying, Dree. It's nice to show people that, you know, there are mistakes in other people's art, and it, you know, it's okay to work through those. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I know we look at a lot of stuff that's published or out there online, you know, and people are showing you their best. I mean, for years, I mean, when I was just posting stuff on Facebook, you know, I'm not going to show people like, oh, look at this crappy thing I made. I'm only going to show the stuff that I was happy with. So on these streams, I kind of just have to work through it. Most of Tori's comment is to the chat, but I do want to mention, you say you have no regrets subscribing to this channel. That's awesome. Thank you, Tori. All right, I do have some little specks underneath my wax here. I'm just going to try to, just kind of bothering me. All right, so I think this will work a little bit better. So I'm going to start off with my needle tool. Dree says it is a compliment. The overproduced videos give off the idea that making mistakes or not being able to do something in the reverse. like talking. Not being able to do it right the first time doesn't exist, but it does. Kujin says, I get what you mean by, I do feel like it's a great way to learn by showing the good with the bad. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite sayings is like, you learn more by failing than you do succeeding. So, like I was saying, I'm just gonna poke the hole all the way through. I'm trying to just kind of open it up a little bit, wiggle this needle around. That'll give me a spot to hopefully thread it through. There, and it did kind of bust through. That foil was a little bit tight. But I should have enough to attach this other piece. Alice says, I'm with them. I never thought it was okay to mess up, but it is, absolutely. So now this one, I don't need to go all the way through. I just need to poke it a little bit through so I have a place to start it. So I've got my opening. And there we go. First arm is done. I'm going to bend this arm up a little bit. And if you're worried about this sticking together, you can put some like liquid Sculpey in there or some translucent clay, but I usually don't have any issues. The wire helps support it, and I put enough pressure on, so in my experience, it bonds pretty well together. All right, so I'm going to thread the needle through this one. Now we're going to thread the piece onto the wire. This wire is a little bit curved because I wanted that, you know, arm hugging motion. Oh, see, and I was even a little off center, but it still went through fine. Tori says, I love art. I never tried sculpting, but it's entertaining to watch. Other people do sculpting. This channel is underrated. Well, thank you. be sure to share this channel on social media. I would greatly appreciate it, but just watching my content helps out a lot. Dree says, are you going to give him little pebble fingers? If that's what you guys want. Like I said, I thought about even doing a little hand on there, or we can just have this be the hand. But this one's a little bit longer, so I'm going to trim that off because I don't want it poking through if we decide that's where it stops. Kujin asks, Andrew, are you going to do more with your 3D pen? I would definitely like to. I'm just trying to figure out what creations would work for it. Dree says a little hand would be cute. Then we're going to do a little hand. You guys decide. So that's what we have so far. Oh, and if you see, I don't know if you guys noticed here, that wire is pretty long for that hand, or for that arm, so it poked through there. Now, this can be upsetting, but because this is a rock monster, what I can do is I can build up some other rocks behind it and cover that up. But for right now, I'm going to just leave it, and then we'll fix that later. Kujin says, I like the two you had on your playlist. Thank you. And I need to add the live stream to the playlist. I'm not good about updating the videos to put them into the playlist. I need to sit down like some afternoon and just do that. So the next thing I want to work on are the faces, because I know we want to do hands, but they're not going to have the wire through them. And I don't want to, I want them to be the last thing, so I'm not, so it lessens my chance of knocking them off. Tori says, oh, I have an idea. What if you give the monster two sides, like the head have different personalities? Yeah, we could make the sides more distinct. So we're going to go with the left head first. You guys have to let me know, one, how many eyes you want it to have, and then what type of teeth and how many, within reason. So I'll wait a second for the chat to catch up. I'll bring this guy up so you can look at him better, because I know you're looking at him from overhead, and you want to be able to, I want you to be able to see him from the front and what we have so far. Dree says both, one-eyed maybe. Get him up a little bit too high there, so I can lower him. Tori says they can have different faces, absolutely. And I could even do one with, like, that's got a happy face or happy mouth and a sad mouth. Brandy says I like Dree's idea. Okay, so we're gonna go with, so would this make this a two-headed Cyclops? So we're gonna do the indentation for the first eye. I'll do the indentation for the second eye. Though I should have maybe, I thought it was a little bit too low, but I think it'll be okay. Brandy says I like the happy mouth, sad mouth idea too. Andrew says, is it still technically a Cyclops then? I don't know. Let's ask the scientists. Is it number of eyes per creature or number of eyes per head or face? Okay, so I'm just going to go with a couple of my pre-made eyes here. Every time we talk about doing Cyclopses and stuff, I want to watch that Sinbad with that Cyclops. Claire's Crafty Corner, hey, I'm late, but oh, looks so cool. Thank you, Claire, thanks for joining today. Dree says, is it a Biclopsin? Yes, we're going to go with a Biclops. So anybody just joining, that's what we have so far on our Let's Make a Monster. Brandy says maybe we can do a green-eyed monster sometime. Yeah, I need to make more parts, and I can do some different color eyes. And I want to do some wings because I know Ms. had talked about doing wings before. And oh, I just read Dree's messages. I thought it'd be so by Cyclops. Got it. So we're going to do a happy face and a sad face. Are we doing any teeth on it? Just going to wait a little bit and you guys can decide if you want teeth on the happy and sad faces. Tori says, I think a happy face with teeth. Okay, so the happy face will have teeth. You want to do the pokey teeth or the flat teeth? Or should we do one with pokey and one with flat? Like one with one tooth, give him a little smile, and one with a bunch of fangs and give him a frown? A lot of people are saying happy. Are we not wanting a sad one? Brandy says yes, that. Tree says, I'm missing Ms. By the way, it's funny how I'm getting used to the crew that hangs out here. Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm surprised. Usually Ms. makes it to the Sunday ones. I know some of my other ones don't always work for her. But we still have time. We'll be on for a little while, so maybe she'll still join us. Alrighty. So Kujin will be right back. Bet you Kujin's getting food again. So I'm going to do happy with a kind of a flat tooth and sad with the fangs, unless I hear otherwise. So I'm just taking a little bit of the gray granite because I want to make like a lip for it. Tori says I missed out on the last stream, so most of you won't even know me. Well, they know you now, so you're part of the tribe. Or the group, or I don't know. Maybe, when my channel gets bigger, we can have a name for it. Or we can have a name for it now. This one will work for the happy face. Drew says the clan. The Clay Clan. Yes. Alright, well, let's see if I can make it. Looking for another flat tooth. And I need to make some more teeth too. I was going to do that yesterday, but I was pretty tired after doing all the wonky weird lanes. Claire says, hey Tori, this is only my second, can't always make it. Nope, and I totally understand that, and I'm glad when anybody can make it, so don't ever feel bad if you missed. Just know you're appreciated for the time that you do spend here. I know we're all busy. There's kind of his happy face, but I'm going to smooth this in a little bit. I'm just taking my ball tool and just kind of dragging this clay, and that'll smooth it in. Dree says those teeth are adorbs. Thank you. Now I'm just taking my finger and smoothing it a little bit more. That way it looks like it's all one piece. Claire says, oh, is it two heads? Yes. It's our Bicyclops. And he wants a hug because he doesn't understand the social distancing that's going on. He's like, hug me. Tori says the teeth are cuter than mine. Or cuter than me, sorry. All right, so now we're going to give him a frown and some fangs. So, how many fangs do we want to do? Do we want to do 2 again, or should we do 3 or 4? They're pretty thin, so I can do a few more if you guys want. Myra says 1 happy and 1 sad. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Andrew says he can't really social distance from himself. Yeah, too bad I wasn't doing claymation. That could be a lot of fun to kind of animate him and have the heads try to turn away, you know, so they don't sneeze on each other. Wait a second to see what you guys decide on how many teeth you want for the frown. I have this other piece of clay that should work. And I can kind of, it's just a half circle, or not, you know, not quite a circle, half oval. And then I'll just turn it a little bit. Okay, Tori, do you think I could fit 100 teeth on here? Let's be realistic. I'm thinking, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. 6 might be pushing it. Tori, I figured you were. That would have to be probably an edited video, because I don't think anybody wants to see me sit here and make 100 teeth and put on one of my monsters. So for now, I'm going to cut these in half. Drew says maybe pointy ones. Yep, that's what I'm going to go with. I've got these ready, if that's what we want. So, like I said, these are all pre-baked. There's a video about let's make some monster parts if you guys want to see how I made these. Bree says 6 would be cool. Tori says new challenge alert. All right, so I'm going to kind of just make a little bit of a groove to put these teeth into. And then I'll put that lip over it. So it's going to cover this up, but that'll give me a place to kind of rest them. Dree says, I haven't seen you use that many yet. No. So we've got 3, 4, 4, and 2 on our previous ones. Might have to even expand this a little bit, but we'll make it fit. My phone's going off that Casey's has 50% off any large pizza. In case you guys want to know, but there was a buzz there, so I feel like I need to explain it. All right, I'm just going to expand it a little bit more out here. And for any of you that are new, I do try to do this every Sunday now at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time, or whatever time zone I'm in. Same time as it was today. Hendry says, wow, it fits. Tori says, that would hurt if it would bite. He's like, art. Yep. So there's a look before I put the lip over it. But yeah, I like the way this guy's looking. So I've only got a little bit of space in between, so I can kind of carve out for the eye a little bit. Kind of make like a little notch with my X-Acto knife. And that'll give a spot for that eye to go and fit in. Claire's Crafty Corner says, okay, so that's 8 p.m. here, I think. I must remember. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And for those of you who don't know, Claire's Crafty Corner does have a great YouTube channel, so when you're done with the live stream, be sure to check out some of her videos. Because we all need some more crafty, inspiring videos to take our mind off of everything that's going on. So I'm just pulling that down a little bit to give him that frown. It is a little off-centered, I'm aware, but I am totally fine with that. Claire says, oh my god, thank you, did not expect that. Well, of course. Absolutely, I love your content. I'm subscribed myself, obviously. So I'm just using the ball tool to kind of smooth those ends down. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of texture to it. And I'll let you guys take a look. I'm pretty happy how that turned out. All right. So we want to, what do we want to do next? Got some specs here. Tori says cute, thank you. All right, so we can, Bella says love it. Thank you, Bella. I can go ahead and build up a little bit here with some of these other rocks. Give it some rock formation back there. Or colors, I should say, for these rocks. Claire says those teeth look so cute. Thank you. And I'll do more with these when we get them all done to add some little details, and then you guys can let me know if you want him to have some moss on him. I have this idea that if I do moss on it, I want to do it on one side because of how moss grows in the wild, and like maybe this guy doesn't even move that fast. Bella says the amount of texture and detail you add is awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to go back here. Try not to mess anything up as I do this. I also noticed a little spot where the foils kind of come through. So cover that up with a little stone. So I'm going to press that in. And just add a little bit of texture, smooth that on, make it kind of look like just a little bump. Now these ones back here, I want to kind of keep them separate so they look like individual rocks just piled up around him. And this will help him stand a little bit too if he needs some stability. So this one rock fills up over that wire. So I can do some other little rocks just to add some detail to it. Tori says it looks cute. Thank you. And what's nice about these, doing a rock monster too, you can think about is the rocks don't all have to be the same texture. Where a lot of the monsters I'll do is like they'll have the same texture throughout the whole body. But a rock monster doesn't necessarily have to have that, because if he's made up of different rocks look differently. For the most part, this won't be visible, but on sculptures, you kind of have to make him look decent from all the way around. Sorry, I'm just skipping through reading through the chat real quick. Drew says he's coming up great, Andrew. Thank you. Claire says it reminds me of the rock monster in Labyrinth. I love Labyrinth. Absolutely love it. It's got one little spot of foil underneath that won't ever be visible, but you always want to make sure he's finished from all angles. So I'll just take a little bit of gray granite and smooth it in. Tori says you can put something in the front, but it's cute. Great Team Hero. Hi, how are you? What do rock monsters eat? Maybe whatever they want. Maybe he's a carnivore and eats little birds that land on him. Okay, so maybe it's Fruity Pebbles. All right, so we want to do some hands with fingers on it. Is that what we're doing next? Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Jennifer says, love the little teeth. So for anybody who's just coming on, get you a good look at our two-headed Bicyclops rock monster. All right. Dree says whatever he wants, he takes it for granted. Oh my. Tori asked, are you going to do another monster? Not today, but he's still got a ways to go, so we're not done yet. And go to a little bit lighter color, just to add some variety to him for his hands. I'm going to texture a little bit while it's on the wax paper, just because I don't want to push and have it come off. Some of the texture will kind of disappear as I'm applying it, but it should still work out pretty well. And then I can still kind of hopefully stabilize it enough not to have an issue. Dree says, I'd love to see more of those rocks in the front. The colors give it richness. Absolutely, we can do that. All right. And that should actually help with the stability too, Dree, just because if he starts to get too much weight with these arms, Claire asks, Andrew, when baked, will it retain its color or be lighter or darker? For the most part, it will stay the same, especially if you don't mix the colors. I have noticed some of them, when I mixed in black, will darken up maybe a little bit. So they can change shade just a little bit, but for the most part, I think it stays about the same. It's going to have a different finish to it baked, because this kind of looks shiny. It looks a little bit, not quite damp, but close. So it's going to be a little smoother. But lots of times I add like a gloss coat to them if I feel like it needs it. Like I might to this guy's eyes and teeth. And Tree says the happy guy looks like he's giving a thumbs up. Well, you know what? We can make sure he gives a thumbs up. We can do kind of a oval rock there. Just add a little bit of texture. And then I'm going to roll out some other little pieces. Give them some little fingers. Andrew says, ah, he's so cute. Thank you. I almost think I'm going to do these other ones a little bit small. I don't want him to distract too much from his thumbs up. Tori says the sad guys, where is my thumbs up? I feel like I should just give the sad guy like 2 fingers or something like that. Like he's not even capable of giving thumbs ups. All right, so there is his happy side. Let's set him down. I'm going to take a drink real quick, guys. I'm not going away. Dries says, is it still possible to reposition the arms a bit? Arms at this point, or would that mess up his stability? Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking, Dree? Tori says they cute. She says bending them, I mean. But like where, you know, how are you, what do you want me to do with them? And I'll let you know if I think I could pull it off. Wait for the response before I add the fingers to the other hand. I'm thinking pulling it more towards the body of the sad guy. More down. I'm thinking of more pulling towards. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Are you talking about the one we just finished, or the one that's on the sad guy? Like move. Oh, Dries says yes, down and bent towards the belly. On this one? No, the sad guy side. This one. Okay, I think we could do that. And Tori, I didn't skip over your question. He says, hey, just a question, when do you stream? So always at this time on Sunday, so 2 p.m. Central. My other ones are kind of random. I'm still trying to work out everything. I do post on Facebook if I'm going to go live lots of times, or make sure you ring the notification bell. There's like a 50% chance it'll tell you. Otherwise, on Mondays I post at night, and I do like a quick look video at how these guys look after they're baked. So I just kind of do that because it's easier than editing. I don't really like plan a very long one then. I am going to do one next Saturday about 10 a.m. Central Time. Got a little guy planned for that. So I want to move this rock guy down, this arm down towards its belly. Okay. For the most part, that worked out pretty well. It cracked a little bit in here, and I can smooth that in. Kujin says, love how it came together. Thank you. I'm pretty happy with how it came together, too. You guys are great. Dree says, I'm just thinking about the gesture. Sad is normally more closed up. I totally agree. So I'm going to add some, I'm going to look around to make sure I didn't mess that up, like have any gaps that I need to fill in. He's got a little bit here, and I could actually put another rock in there. So I'm going to do a couple little fingers. smaller ball tool, just to add a little bit of textures, press them in a little bit. Claire says it looks great like this. The fingers are so cute. Thank you. So I'm gonna just cover up that spot that kind of cracked with another little rock and give him like this little elbow. And then I'm just gonna texture it a little bit. Andrew says, I agree, Claire, the fingers always get me. They make me think of baby toes. Om nom nom nom. All right. So I am going to add some rocks to the front here. I don't know how visible they'll be. They'll be visible, but not from the angle. Audrey says, that's so cool, the little elbow pebble, thanks. Tori says, will you give him a name? You guys will name him or her when it's all done. So that's something we do. And Kujin's already saying Geo Bros. But like I said, we can get him finished first. So I'm going to have a bigger rock like I did on the back. Just press it in. It's getting a little tricky to texture it with that arm, but we can get in there. Then I'm going to do some of the other colored ones. Kind of build up. Now I'm going to take some darker. Dree asked, do you guys know Crumb from Ah Real Monsters? I don't. Tori says, name suggestion, Peblos. Trying to get as many different little colors of pebbles in here. Delaney says, love that name. Love that name. So I'm going to add some texture to these new rocks. Right, and I think I'm going to put one little rock in the corner up here just to fill in this gap. Just going to roll it around until I can get it in place. Claire's Crafty Corner says, love Peblos, like pebbles from Flintstones. So I'm hoping I can bring this up here to show you guys. So that's what we have so far. Dree says, Crumb holds his eyes in his hands and has big tufts of hair coming out from under his armpits. That's funny. All right. right, so before we finish, Dree says, I think your style, Andrew, would lend itself to Crumb-inspired monsters. I'll have to check it out. I've heard of the show, I've never watched it. Just thinking ahead. All right, so should I add some moss to this guy? And if I do, I won't add a lot. I just want to add a little bit of color, maybe off to the side of, you know, some of the boulders. So I'll wait and see if you guys want moss or if you think we're done for this one. Tori says, sure, why not? I'm going to clean my hands up a little bit. It shouldn't be too bad. Still haven't printed out my little sign to say that I'm washing my hands. I was going to print that out. I've got a few signs I was going to make, so anytime I'm step away from a stream, or at least not visible here, somebody who just comes on knows what's going on. All right. Andrew says I'm pro moss. Claire says no moss. Andrew says maybe mute the green a bit with a brown or gray. Claire says very different response. Haha, I love this. So I'm going to soften up a little bit of green. Delaney says moss. Kujin just smiles. Kujin, that's not helping me decide. I do like the idea of maybe mixing a little bit of brown in there to mute it a bit. It'll still have the color, but not be, you know, look, that's pretty bright. So, let me find some just standard brown. Got some right there. Tori says, is moss a name because I can't understand? Claire says, agree to mute it. Kujin says, oh, brown with the green. All right. So I'm just going to take a little bit. We'll see what that does. Oh, moss is a name from the, is it IT crowd? But we're talking about adding moss. Tori, moss is like green grass. All mushed up. Tori's like, oh, perfect. We got this. Also, I'm gonna use a toothbrush to texture the moss a little bit. I'm gonna try not to get in and texture the stonework though. I could also use my needle tool to texture it. So I'm just getting this mixed in. You can see it's right swirled right now. And Tori, you are doing fine. All right, so this is mostly swirled, not all the way, but I think that'll be fine because that way it's not the same throughout. So I'm just going to take some little pieces. Not 100% sure how I'm doing this yet. I don't really like how that's going on there, so I might try to make kind of a odd little shape. Try this. So I'll give it some texture with the brush. And then when I put it on there, now I can go in, just add a little bit of texture around the edge there. I think this bigger patch will work better than what I was gonna or initially had in my mind. Oh, Andre says, yeah, for grass you can kind of swirl. I've never really gotten that technique, but we'll see what I can do here. So, and if we don't like this, I can take it off too. I don't think it'll be too hard to remove. Tori asked, wait, is that my toothbrush? Yes, it is. You're not going to want to use it now. All right, are we liking that? See if I got it close enough. And if that looks okay, then I'll add some more. Honestly, no. No, that's fine. But Claire says that, wow, that detail's fab. So we have, Dree's not a fan, Claire likes it. Tori says, I like you and the little monster. Thank you. So what are we going to do then? Now we're at a standstill because we've got one that really likes it, one that really doesn't. Fujin then said maybe darken the color. Dree says the pebbles are way better. Maybe little pebbles on his head. I can do that. So let's see. Besides Dree and Claire, let me know what we should do. Jessica says looks good. Tori says we're a bit mixed. Claire says to be fair, I did originally say no moss. Yes, you did. Tori says dark with light. Kujin says yay pebbles. Great Team Hero says you have two heads do both. Dree says because those textures and colors just look so great, the moss is too bright still. Oh, okay. So should I darken the moss? Dree says I was super pro moss, but I admit I can be wrong. Tori says I don't really care. I already like this. Honestly, guys, I'm fine either way. So Dree says no moss. Peeling the moss off. See, that was pretty easy. Claire says, I think the moss would have to be on every rock to properly make it look messy. Kujin says, I like green, but not for this creature. Nope, that's fine. And I'll save this green for a blob or a shell monster or something like that. So we'll set that aside. So do we want to add maybe some rocks where the ears would be on each one and use some different colors, or Tree says, sorry for the moss detour. No problems at all. That's, you know, a lot of times we don't know. I mean, I myself have been doing this for 10 years almost, and I still, you know, like, oh, does this look good? Well, you won't know till you try it. Great team hero. I like turtles. Yes, turtles are awesome. Ninja and otherwise. Dree says placed random. Tori says mixed. So I definitely think more rocks will help him because he is a rock monster. Dree says not ear pebbles, just randomly placed. Got it. So we can start with kind of a larger one. Get a little bit of texture. And with this one, since I'm kind of going down on it, doing that texture will help press it in to the one that's already there. Claire says agree, Dree. Dree says maybe one on the back between the heads. Between the heads like, and then just says I like the moss, but it's fine without. Well, I appreciate it, Jessica, and I might do another rock monster sometime with some moss and have it look a little more fitting. So I'm going to do another rock back between the heads. And Tori says, yeah, maybe random place. I agree with 3. So do I want it like it's holding the heads together or back at the neck area? So I'm going to put this one here for now. And make some other smaller ones. Dree says, I think the moss would have to be lighter, maybe mix green tones and more grayish. Tori says you can try out both. Dree says I'll have to make moss myself now. And Jessica says at the neck area. So we're going to move this little one down a bit. Texture that. Do a couple little ones on his head. Dree says, looking cute already. Thank you. And Dree says, this is the right way to go. No argument there. All right. Tori says, if I found this at a beach, I would keep this as a pet. I need to contact DreamWorks and send them some images. Maybe they could do like a little movie with some of my creatures. All right. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of zone in. It's hard to stay in the chat and stay talking this whole time. I'm like, you know, like, oh, do. Dree says, oh, maybe give this ad one some little pebble zits. Yes. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to tear off some of the small pieces, and I'm going to go ahead in a little bit, get you guys a good look at it. we got so far. He says those always make me sad. Tori says, you know why I called myself Tori? Is you probably can't spell my name. That could be true. A pretty bad speller anyway. Kujin says, I love the character this creature has. Thank you. It's definitely become the longest creation process we've had on one of these, which is totally fine. All right. Just getting the little pebble zits, little pebble freckles, whatever you want to call them. Dree says, don't forget to like us. Yes, I appreciate that. That does help the videos get found and they show up and suggested and all that stuff. Alice says he's looking good. Thank you, Alice. Definitely want the channel to grow. And I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day to come hang out. Tori says, only 2 likes. What? What? Well, people are just busy watching. Oh, but Claire says, I see 6. Well, that's even better. Kujin says, Andrew, you are awesome, mate. Thank you, Kujin. I appreciate it. So there's a look with some freckle-like, or zit-like, I should say. Not freckles, but zit-like things on him. Dree says, I see 7. I'm going to add some more little rocks to him. And did we decide, is Peblos the name? Dree says, I see 1,000 in the future. That would be awesome. Thank you, Dree. Tori says, yeah, Andrew's awesome. Aw, thank you. Claire says, that thumbs up is so cute, it's ridiculous. Thank you. Is it Peblo or Peblos? Let me write it down too. Again, I said I was going to have a piece of paper ready. Did I? No. So. Oh, we're definitely getting Peblos. All right, so I'll put that on the quick look video for tomorrow. So we've got his little name. I'm just filling in around that crevice here for his arm with some different little rocks. And I think these are all kind of randoms. This one here, I want to go in a little bit deeper into this crevice here. All right. Kujin says it's a good name. Yes, it is. It is a great name. I love it. Thank you. All right, I think Peblos is done, unless we know of something else that I forgot to add. So I'll wait just a couple minutes, kind of show him to you guys. And we'll get a better look at him tomorrow when I'm not as worried about handling him. Jessica says, what is the next live stream? So tomorrow I will do a quick look live stream, but it's only a few minutes, so it just kind of pops on. I just do it because it's easier than editing. But you guys are welcome to hop on while I'm doing that or watch it after it's done. I don't know as far as throughout the week. I haven't quite come up with a schedule yet. And if you guys think it would be better for me to be scheduled, I can do that and like put it in the community tab or my about tab. Otherwise, for sure, I'm planning on one at 10 a.m. Central Time on Saturday next week. Dre says, no moss, Kujin, no moss. Kujin says, around its feet. Oh, looks like Dre talked Kujin out of the moss, so we're not going to do the moss on this one. I think I will do a moss rock monster sometime in the future. Maybe do a rock wonky weird lean and add some moss to it. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question roughly. Guys, just let me know too if you want me to have a completely scheduled live streams. Otherwise, to me, it's like if I feel like sculpting, I just kind of pop on. And I know sometimes it doesn't always give notifications, and that's unfortunate because I know a lot of you have rung the little bell. All right, is that it for today then? Had a great time doing the Let's Make a Monster. I appreciate everybody's input. And to be honest with you, I mean, even with all my years of practice and sculpting, like you guys come up or help me come up with something that I don't think I would have done on my own. So that's great. Make sure I don't miss anything. Dree says, thanks Andrew, thanks everyone, it was fun. Yes, it was. Claire says, thanks Andrew, it was lovely to chat with all of you. Stay safe. You too. Tori says, hope my notification shows up for your streams. I hope so. Kujin says, alright, get them late. I'm sorry. Tree says, great Andrew. Tori says, I like you a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like all of you guys. You guys are great. A lot of fun. Great diversion from everything going on. Alice says, have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Alice, for coming on. All right, guys. Thanks for joining today's Let's Make a Monster live stream. I hope to see you on the next one. And remember, never stop creating. Bye.